Hi, Melissa.
Hi, Lenore. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Welcome back to Mind Mingle.
Welcome back. We've got an exciting topic today. What is it?
Core beliefs.
Who believes?
If my clients had $1 for every time I said core beliefs in session,
What the heck is a core belief, Melissa?
well, that's what we want to talk about today. It's interesting. I think as we talk about core beliefs as clinical people, right? That brings up a lot for us, how people view themselves, these elements of themselves they feel true. But as I talk to my clients, a lot of them, they either don't know what their core beliefs are or they only perceive very negative ones about themselves.
I would say that's true. You want to know what one of my core beliefs was that I did? I overcame it, but it was always like, oh, I can't believe I did that. I'm so stupid. Oh, that was a core belief of mine.
So that I'm so stupid that Lenore mentioned is that core belief. And when you say that, what do you feel in your body?
It makes me cringe.
No, my stomach dropped a little when I heard you say it.
Yeah.
It's so awful. So why do I, as a clinician, care about core beliefs then? So if you're running around the world thinking, I'm so stupid, what do you think that lends itself to?
That lends itself to all kinds of things where I put myself down over and over. And I'm a horrible critic of myself. And most people are worse than they are of other people.
Way worse.
Way worse. What is that? Why are we way worse on ourselves?
I think maybe we perceive it as control. If I say it first, I'm beating everyone else to the punch.
Oh, I never thought of that. Dang, that's good.
But I think you probably have the same experience. I have the sweetest, kindest clients that would never say a mean thing to a soul. But then when you get them in the chair or the couch, the things they tell us about themselves are so dark and harsh and cruel almost. And it kind of goes back to that core belief system.
It goes back to that core belief. My supervisor used to say that it was your mother's messages or your parents' messages to keep you in line, but became much harsher over the years. And it might have started with don't run out in the street, which is
right.
Clearly needed. and then it turned into like, I'm such a bad person. I can't believe I didn't know not to run out into the street.
Yes.
Why do I keep doing these bad things?
Yes. And it just adds, it's one of those things. Once you say you have the core belief, I'm so stupid. And then say you trip up the stairs. We've all done that. That's a universal embarrassing moment, right?
Yeah.
Then it's like, see, I am stupid. And then maybe you fumble when you say something to your boss and you're like, okay, there's another example.
That's right. That's right. Or I made this mistake. I can't believe I made this mistake. I'm so stupid. And then it just reinforces, where the positive ones, I don't think we tend to reinforce as much. Maybe because we're trained to be humble, or it's not okay to be a braggart or have a big ego. Why do you think?
I think it's that, what you're saying, but I also think we don't believe the good ones as much.
Probably not.
I think we think, oh, I was good in that moment. Maybe not, I'm good overall. And that's really what we need to nurture, because I think most humans work really hard at being good.
Definitely.
Yeah, right?
Overall, yeah.
Overall.
With the exception of a couple psychopaths.
Just a couple sociopaths and psychopaths along the way.
Serial killers out there.
But talking about the core beliefs, so, one that I work on, I'm glad to hear you say you've overcome yours. One that I'm working on is this fear of abandonment, right? So if I worry I'm going to be abandoned and I don't catch myself, I could push away good people in my life because the fear is they're eventually going to leave me.
That is really true. And I was going to say, like, these core beliefs, why do we worry about them so much? Because they come up day to day. Like, you might push away a good person because you're like, it's going to happen anyway. I'm just going to get it over with.
Right. Yeah. We met, it's so funny we're talking about this. I didn't plan to go this deep so early on in the podcast, but we met this lovely girl the other week. She came for a marketing meeting. And I thought, oh, I like her. I'd want to be friends with her. Never did a single thing with it. Never followed up. Never did anything. So I thought, well, I don't want to embarrass myself. Or how many marketing meetings does she go on? Like, she probably doesn't want me to text
me. Oh, that's terrible to think that.
But it's such an innocuous thing. But how many of those are we doing throughout the day that we're not even catching?
And it keeps us in our box. It keeps us limited. And, when people say, well, you do therapy, you're like, why do you really need to dive into my childhood? Well, that's the reason, because you have a pattern from your core belief that just gets repeated and repeated and repeated. And it kind of takes somebody on the outside looking in to say, notice that pattern.
Notice that pattern, and what are we going to do about it? It's so true. So I spent the first 10 years of my career working with people in drug and alcohol treatment programs. And we spent so much time looking at relapse patterns and recovery. And what are you going to do next time a trigger comes up? And you know what? We did not spend enough time looking at, why do I not feel like I'm worthy of staying sober? Why did the first time I drank or drug, did I feel like, oh, this is a solution? This quiets the noise, or this changes my fear system. What's that core belief? Is it, I'm not worthy of being sober, so why put in the effort?
Yeah.
It really lends itself to a lot of problematic or maladaptive behaviors in our life.
Yeah. Or if you were beaten as a child, you do have that core belief of, I'm afraid of everything.
Right.
Because you're reacting as a child would react, a person with no power.
Right.
And so then you become powerless and you're like, just going to drink. It takes the feeling away.
Yeah. And I think these core beliefs are really important to look inward, because I think a lot of them come innocuously. So if you have a substance abuse problem or an abuse history, you can kind of see where those core beliefs come from, right? But I work with a couple clients who parents were good people, no abuse, nothing bad happened, but maybe they were one of 5 kids, or maybe they were a sibling of someone who is disabled, or this or that.
Yeah.
And they thought, my needs are not as important as the others.
That's a good example.
My needs are not as important as my brother who has special needs and needs a lot more help. So I'm not going to speak up. I'm not going to become a problem.
Yeah.
And it starts super innocent, right? Mom's already busy. Don't bother her.
Yep.
But then it really can get in our way later in life if that's unchecked.
And what do you think, what core belief would that particular one translate into? Like maybe I'm not good enough, or I don't deserve.
I think I'm not good enough. I don't deserve. Don't take up the room. Don't pull attention.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of a couple clients in particular, but anytime they get a compliment, they immediately slam it down, or even a neutral statement, they immediately slam it down because they're so conditioned to not take up space.
Wow. Yeah, that's really interesting.
It's really interesting. And you can see how if we don't watch these core beliefs, they can really run wild. So Lenore and I, we both are certified EMDR therapists. And do you want to talk a little bit about why we care about core beliefs in EMDR?
Well, core beliefs are the core of EMDR. And so you identify through a target memory what a core belief is, so that we can measure it and change it.
Right.
So for example, if someone said my dad beat me regularly, right? Their core belief would probably be, I'm not good enough.
Oh, yeah.
I don't matter. I am just 5 years old. And then we target in on that by, if they can't identify their core belief, we'll ask them about a trigger. Every time I sit on the steps, I go there when I get depressed. And turns out every time he sat on the steps was when he was watching his dad beat the crap out of his brother, but didn't really know that's why he was sitting on the steps and feeling bad.
Oh, there's so much research and knowledge now that we have on the physical sensations in our bodies and how they're correlated to our memories. So that idea of just sitting on the step, your brain has that neural pathway built in of, well, we go to the step when we're in a freeze state, or we go into this step when things are bad, because that's what we've always done.
That's what that's what he was doing. He was going to the steps when he was having a problem, and he didn't even realize why he was going to the steps. And through EMDR, we identified that pattern. That's where he watched that happen. And that the core belief is what we measure. I'm not good enough. And then we say, what would you like that to become? What's the goal? Maybe I'm enough. And then we measure that.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
right?
Totally. And I think the beautiful part of EMDR and really hopefully any therapy you're seeking is you're connecting the mind, body, and spirit, right?
Yes.
If we could think our way out of anything, we wouldn't, we really wouldn't need therapy, or we wouldn't need friends, or we wouldn't need anything,
That's true.
right?
We could just solve all our
To
problems.
solve all of our problems.
It's a logical manner, right?
Yeah. But we have to connect the mind, body, and spirit. And I think you and I talk about this a lot on the podcast, I think, but how our culture impacts that. I don't know that our culture is really great about mixing in mind, body, and spirit. It's kind of this, we have an American culture of just push through, just keep going, right?
Just look at our medical system. Everything is separate. You need a different person for your hand, for your elbow, for your mind, like we act like they're not connected parts.
Oh,
But they are connected parts. And when you experience any kind of trauma, like that kick in the gut feeling, when I say kick in the gut, everybody gets it because we've all felt that horrible feeling when something awful happens. It's not in our mind, it's in our stomachs, right? And that's where we store that trauma.
100%. And until we work out that trauma, our brain will continue to send us this message of, hey, you're in trouble, even when you're not.
That's true.
Even when you're not. So Lenore and I, we work in this really beautiful house that Lenore has converted into an office space. But it looks like a house, right? It has a kitchen, has living room, all these different rooms. So the beauty of a house, though, is that sometimes when people shut the doors, it almost sounds like someone's slamming the door when they're not. They're just shutting the door, and maybe the wind catches or the air conditioner's on or whatever the case might be. If someone grew up in a house where there was a lot of screaming and carrying on and slamming of doors, even if the door just shuts a little quicker, I see so many clients jump off the couch or even jump in their chair because their body is sending the message of something is wrong.
Something bad is going to happen.
Something bad is happening just by hearing that door.
I'm really sorry for slamming the door. Guilty.
No, it's also the nature of being in a house, but it's just amazing. And the opposite.
It's amazing how they react.
It's amazing how they react. It's amazing how they react. And the other thing is true of my office is at the end of the hallway, and my office, my buddy, Tyler, producer of our podcast.
Thanks, Tyler.
Thanks, Tyler. Whose room is right next to mine. Whenever he comes up the stairs, I hear the jingle jangle of his keys. And I have such a pleasant association with Tyler that whenever I hear the keys, I have a pleasant association in my body.
Yeah.
I can be 30 minutes into a session and I just hear the keys jingle and my brain and my body say, oh, it's here. Everything's good.
Everything's good. I know what that is. Yeah.
Right. And so it's amazing that our brain and our body is so connected, yet our culture treats it as so separate.
It is amazing. It is really amazing. And the spiritual aspect of sending yourself positive messages is really kind of interesting if you dive into it, because I grew up in the Lutheran and the Catholic Church because I'm a product of divorce. The Catholic Church was always preaching humble. You need to be humble. I think people took it a little too far. Don't you think?
Yeah. I think there's a fine line between being overly humble and maybe instilling shame.
I think you're right. Now, we're not talking about, like, everybody knows the young college male is usually like a little, got the swagger to them. It's kind of like they're portraying confidence that they probably don't have. But it's a fun time in life, and we're certainly not saying your ego should take over everything. But how did we get to all this negativity? And then we think it's a great thing. I'm being spiritual if I'm negative on myself.
Right. Oh, talking about that, I'm working with someone who they take a humbleness to a whole new level of this idea of I don't deserve anything, but even in a spiritual realm, do I even deserve to go to heaven? I mean, these are massive things that, like, talk about taking humbleness to in a really worrisome level.
Absolutely. So if you can identify your core beliefs, that's kind of half the battle,
Oh my gosh, yes.
right?
And then we're cognizant of it. So I can identify my core beliefs of I worry about that abandonment piece, right? Or I worry I'm so stupid, or I worry I don't deserve to take up space. So then we can do a little work in therapy to unmangle the past and the present, but also just to keep it top of mind. So that I'm so stupid. How do you challenge that if that ever comes up for you,
Well,
Lenore?
it comes up for a second and then I quickly say, no, 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 no.
Mm-hmm.
No, you're not.
You're not.
I can't stop it from coming, but I can stop it from staying there.
Oh, say that again. That's so powerful.
I can't stop it from coming, the thought, but I can stop it from staying in my mind and repeating itself.
That is a crucial point because I think people think, well, it's going to come, so whatever. Okay. But then I get to challenge it. I get to challenge it that that's not true. And I'm not going to stay here because that creates more evidence, whether it's distorted evidence, but
Right.
it creates more evidence.
Creates evidence. That's right.
Yeah. And then, using my example of the abandonment. So if I am worried about abandonment and poor husband, we'll use him as a case study here. If I worry my husband's going to abandon me, and then every time he doesn't meet my expectations, I'm keeping a tally in my brain of, see,
Yep.
he's going to abandon me.
That's
See,
right.
I shouldn't even ask him for anything. See, I can't rely on him. I'm creating a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Or you'll pick a partner that is a little distant and aloof because that's kind of what you're used to.
Yes. Yes. So we pick things also in life that can feed into these negative core beliefs, right? So if I don't feel like I'm worthy and my partner is shouting at me or putting me down, I think, every relationship has its problems. No one has it great. Instead of being like, no, I don't deserve to be yelled at.
That's how that pattern of abuse perpetuates itself.
Mm-hmm.
Because you start by feeling not good enough, and then you're attracted to a person who verifies that you're not good enough.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're like, well, this is what I deserve because this matches what's in my mind. And then it just keeps going.
Yes.
And then you wake up one day and say, how did I get here?
How did I get here?
Oh, it's been there for a while.
Oh.
Starts in childhood and it's been there for a while. That's why core beliefs are so important.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think talk therapy is just about rehashing the week's problems, that's not what therapy is. That's not what therapy is supposed to be.
No. And if that's the case, I would give you two challenges. One, am I the client blocking myself from going deeper? Or two, am I maybe paired with a therapist who, maybe isn't experienced enough to push me to go deeper, or who's just
or brave enough to push
brave enough, yes,
deeper.
or is willing to just coast with me. But to Lenore's point, and I mean this lovingly, what happened during the week is not as important as how do we get here? What is the why?
Right. And how do we keep it from happening again?
Yes. Yes. So if every week you're telling me you had a fight with your boss and what a big jerk he is or she is or they are, well, how are we having a fight with them every single week? What is happening here?
I mean, there's room for that in therapy too, but
Yes.
You're not getting at the root of the problem.
Yes. Then the root of the problem is say maybe the disease, using medical terms. But if we're only talking about symptoms, we're never curing the disease.
Let's use our imagination. Maybe my boss really reminds me of my dad.
Yes.
Who abandoned me a long time ago, and now I'm getting back at him.
Yes, I love that. Or, maybe I'm in a freeze trauma state and I know I'm not in a great work environment, but I've been here 5 years and I'm afraid to leave. Or what if I'm not good enough to leave? Or
what if I can't get another job? And negative, 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 negative. Yeah. So core beliefs are at the heart of EMDR.
Mm-hmm.
And I think wouldn't you agree that the EMDR training that we received really made us much better counselors in general?
Oh, I say to Lenore all the time, I don't know what I did before EMDR because I do. I think it makes us better counselors and honestly a better human because I look at things through a viewpoint of like, well, what's the core belief in this? I think it makes me kinder to myself and kinder to important people around me.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
It does make you see things with like a much clearer lens,
Mm-hmm.
a much clearer lens. So Give us some examples of core beliefs before we sign off.
Okay. So we usually start with a negative or a harsh one. And like Lenore said, we're working to get to a more positive core belief, but unfortunately people come in with their negative ones. So I'm not worthy. I'm not safe.
Hmm.
I don't trust myself is a huge one. I work with tons of my
I
clients
don't
on.
trust myself.
If I don't trust myself, how am I getting through anything in life? I don't trust myself is a massive one. And I don't want to go too far down a rabbit trail here, but that's where you see dissociation come into play. That's where you see
Yeah.
all of this checking out in life. So I would say the main ones I see are I don't trust myself. I'm not safe. I'm not worthy. It's never going to get better.
Another fan favorite is I'm not allowed to show or feel my emotions.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Yes. Oh, it's
or I'm not in control, or I should have done better. I should have known better.
Yes. Yes.
Right?
Yes. I should have known better is a big one. Unfortunately, especially when we see childhood abuse or childhood sexual abuse.
Oh, yes.
For some reason, people come to us and they say, I should have known better. And I'm like, how could you have known better?
You were 5.
You were 5. You were 4. You were a little kid. You were taught to trust adults in your life. But that's a massive one. So again, looking through that lens, if my core belief is I don't know, or I should have known better, or I can't be safe, that can keep you really stuck in these self-fulfilling prophecies.
Really stuck.
Really
stuck.
So again, if you find yourself kind of feeling like every day is Groundhog's Day, or every week in therapy, you're kind of rehashing the same fight or the same annoyance or the same pain, trying to look through the lens of core belief of, well, what do I think? What do I think about myself in this moment? Do I think I'm not deserving? Do I think I don't trust my instinct? Do I think that I'm not capable of making a healthy choice and going from there?
Yeah. Well, thanks.
And then what would you say? Sorry, Lenore. What would you say then? Lenore's really good with spirituality and body connection. So then, like, how would you incorporate that with, say, I don't feel safe in my own body, or like I don't trust myself? Like, how would you want a client to ground themselves physically, would you say?
Oh, physically ground when you don't trust yourself? That's a hard one. Maybe walk in the grass or feel, the sunlight come in through the top of your head and move through your body and come out the bottom of your feet and ground you, and realize that you're a being on this earth and you deserve to be here just as much as a praying mantis or a fly. I mean,
Oh, that's so beautiful.
we're all here and we're all interconnected.
That's so beautiful.
Right?
Right.
I mean,
right. Lenore's is so much more prophetic and beautiful than mine. But I even go with, if I'm struggling with, I don't trust myself, and I wake up early in the morning and I'm like, oh, it's kind of cold out. Do I need a jacket? Do I not need a jacket? You know what? You're going to be fine whether you have a jacket on or not today. You're almost 40 years old. You're going to figure it out. You'll be fine if you're a little cold. And I know that sounds a little silly, but that's how we do start to trust ourselves. Like,
that's how we trust ourselves.
I can make a choice. I can grab a sweater or not grab a sweater, but I'm going to survive. I'm going to survive.
I'm going to survive. I trust my car.
Yeah.
If it turns on every single time, and if it doesn't, I basically stop trusting it.
Yep. Yes. But start very small like that. And I also love what Lenore said. We all deserve to be here and work and to strive for that. So day by day, hour by hour, right?
Absolutely. So, we're challenging you to think about all this, and thanks a lot for listening.
Thanks for always reminding us, Lenore, that we are worthy. We're not alone. And we're here just trying to figure it all out, right?
That's right. And it's all going to be okay.
It's all going to be okay. All right. Have a good week.
Talk to you next time. Bye.